Certain things, in the world of Meghan Markle that simply won't go away, despite the sort of public image that she's tried to put out there. It's interesting, isn't it, when you think, the image really is of that of a caring, sharing humanitarian, looking at the good of the world, off to feed the poor, pay her respects at, personal things that have happened globally. But seemingly then cutting off her own family. And more importantly, of course, her very ill father, Thomas Markle, no compassion there. That's the big background to this particular breaking story over here in the United Kingdom. It all really surfaces upon the fact that Meghan, who we now know has lost quite a considerable amount of staff over a very short period, seemingly, and as ever we have to say allegedly, is not a particularly nice person to work for. As ever, let me explain. Morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Nice to have your company today. It's interesting, isn't it? With public images, we all find them eventually. And then, people write books. I've told you before, it's happened in Hollywood for years. Betty Davis's daughter wrote a scathing book. Joan Crawford's daughter wrote a scathing book. There were so many. Bing Crosby's son. It was relentless. But over here in the United Kingdom, we tend to be a little bit more reserved, because celebrity most of the time is kind of looked up upon. And this is really, as I've said to you before, what Meghan and Harry truly are now. But their world really truly did collapse when their former personal assistant, Jason North, revealed personal texts about his concerns regarding the behavioural pattern of both Harry and Meghan towards their staff. So much so, in fact, that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, had already gently spoken to Meghan about how we treat staff over here in the United Kingdom. They're not servants, they're staff, right? Meghan seemingly didn't get the memo on this, and then it really escalated, seemingly so that so many people cited the word, that's right, bullying. Now the bigger problem is this, as Meghan's cultivating a brand new image as a humanitarian, popping up at all manner of things, accepting an award all about racism and stuff like that. It's interesting, isn't it, to note that these particular sticking points will not move away. Now she's never addressed them, and we don't know if they're going to pop up, of course, in this forthcoming docu-series in the latter parts. The bigger problem now for Harry and Meghan is senior former members of staff who signed NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, which basically mean that you can't speak about your time working for people. It's nothing new, happens to everybody big. I've had to sign NDAs while being interviewing people. It's ludicrous because you think you're there to promote somebody. Who cares what you're going to talk about? But that's how weird these people are. Now, very senior ex-staff are looking to break those NDAs. This, of course, is following that investigation privately undertaken by our former and beautiful late Queen, Queen Elizabeth II, who decided to keep the investigation private, basically to spare both sides more humiliation, one might suspect, and as ever, allegedly. Now, moving forward for Harry and Meghan, there's a bigger problem. Because if staff decide that they wish to speak out and simply break the NDA themselves, and make no mistake, there are a lot of organisations circling around them, including the former personal assistant, Jason North, who's now relocated to the other side of the world. That's right. It's interesting to note, where does that leave them? Because they will have proof. As Meghan claims that she had, written documentation, recorded conversations, again, allegedly, they too have their proof. These are staff members that have been there many, many years with unblemished records. So one has to say, did Meghan simply not fit in, or was she in fact a very difficult boss? Either way, this is going to resurface just in time for that all-important launch for Prince Harry and his next big royal bashing project, Spare, the book from Penguin Random House. But for Meghan, this could prove more damaging, because if they do speak out, and I'm assured it's looming, then the bigger problem for Meghan is this. Her image as someone who's kind, retiring, vulnerable, that sort of thing, could be blasted to smithereens. And that truly could be unrepairable. It doesn't matter what Prince Harry says about protecting his wife. What did he do to protect the loyal staff that had served him and his family for so long? As ever, when I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.